Using this image I've taken of some intense lighting, I want to demonstrate why you would develop and edit in a wide color profile. Wide color profiles are what we refer to as profiles that have a larger gamut than sRGB, which is the standardized profile for most displays and devices. By using sRGB, you'll guarantee that the color range of your image will be reproducible by the majority of displays out there. And although technology is improving, there are still plenty of displays that can only reproduce the sRGB gamut. So they can't reproduce colors from gamuts like Adobe RGB or P3. So the old argument surfaces: if the majority of viewers can't see those extra colors, why would you bother editing in a wide color profile like Adobe RGB or say ProPhoto? Now, one good answer is that you'll want to retain as much color information as possible, even if it has to be clipped or rounded during export. Who knows what purpose your image might find? It might be seen on a digital projector that can display a wide color gamut. It might be destined for print. In the far-off future, when the majority of devices can reproduce larger color gamuts, you may want to revisit your image and reprocess it to take advantage of this. That last point may or may not happen. Enough rambling though, I want to actually demonstrate something. The other answer is that even if the end image is going to be converted to sRGB, it will still benefit from a wider color space. Let me show you. I've got this image here, and without tweaking anything, I'm going to click Develop to bring this image into the main photo persona. Now from here, I will select the color picker tool, okay, and then I'll just click drag over some areas in the image. Now here, if we look at the values, we'll see blue is at 255, which is the maximum color value available. We're actually in 16-bit, but the color picker uses 8-bit values for convenience. So that's 0 to 255. Basically, this is telling us that the blue channel is maxed out. The color values that are contained here have been clipped, so we can't increase them any further. To show you this in practice, let me add an HSL adjustment to this image. Now notice, as I scrub the saturation slider, that the blue tones here don't change at all. As you can see, they can't because they're already at the maximum value that sRGB will accommodate. The purples here change slightly, and the reds, yellows and oranges increase a bit more. But it becomes clear that we're a bit limited here. Okay, let me close this image down, and I'll reopen that raw file. Now this time what I'll do is I'll check the Profiles option here, and I'm going to change it from sRGB to ROM RGB. Now ROM is a profile that ships with Affinity Photo, and it's basically ProPhoto, which has a significantly larger color gamut than sRGB. Again, I'll click Develop. Now this time, if I pick up the color picker tool here again and I click drag over these areas, we can see the blue value is now at 235. So instantly this is telling us that there were tones in the original RAW file that weren't representable in sRGB's limited gamut. One of the other arguments is that sRGB basically encapsulates all of the color values of reflected light that the human eye can perceive, but this just isn't the case. When shooting RAW, cameras can record color intensity values that far exceed sRGB. And when we process these RAW files and convert the end result to sRGB, we're clipping and throwing away these potential color values. Again, what I'll do is I'll add an HSL adjustment here, and I'll bring the saturation up. Notice this time that I can intensify the blue tones up to a certain point, and the purples and reds here are allowed to become even more intense. We've now pushed these color values as far as we can take them, so I think I'll back the saturation off a bit until I get a result I like, maybe leave it at about 20%. Here's the great thing though. If we flatten this document, and then we go to Document and Convert ICC Profile, choose sRGB and then convert it, We'll see a change. The result, however, is still more colourful and punchy than if we had just edited in sRGB. Here's a before and after comparison. So here it is edited in sRGB with an HSL adjustment at 20%. And then the image edited in ROM RGB and converted to sRGB for export. So perhaps not a dramatic difference, but enough to suggest that there are advantages to working in a larger colour space, even if your final output is going to be in sRGB for web delivery. The final note then is that even if you're purely delivering imagery for the web, it's worth experimenting to see if your workflow can benefit from a larger colour space. It's going to be especially useful if you shoot low-light photography like urban scenes, light painting, fireworks, subjects with lots of intense colours basically. You should find that simply giving the software the ability to process in a larger colour space will provide benefits, even when you're having to round and convert to sRGB for output. Anyway, I hope that was useful to you. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out the other video tutorials.